couldn't go back. Mr. Speaker, this question is not a constituency-specific question. It is a question that...
No, please, what point? Whom are you raising? Wait, whom are you raising the point of order against?
Mr. Speaker,
and what order has the member breached?
It is so.
Whom are you raising the point of order against?
Against the... You intend to... Mr. Speaker, against the line of question which is coming to the Deputy Minister. And I ground it on the fact that the answer, which is now in circulation, at least for now, for the convenience of this very purpose, he alone has it. I'm saying that the fact that it is not a constituency-specific question, members who have interest in asking questions on this may not have the opportunity to cite the answer to enable them ask the relevant question. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, my humble application, Mr. Speaker, I feel inclined that you may grant it. My very humble application is that this matter be deferred or stood down for the time being, for copies of the amended answer to be made available to all of us, so that we could appropriately deal with the matter. I'm grateful exceedingly, Mr. Speaker, in anticipation of a favorable response from you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my colleague is grossly out of order. Mr. Speaker, the reason is this. When my colleague or our colleague did apply to the Speaker to make the amendment, and members will get the rendition as she fully reads, nobody raised an objection. It meant that when it got to where she amended, we were going to take note of what she read. And Mr. Speaker, because that had happened, now you are asking supplementary question. You are not claiming that because you cannot see when you have chosen not to jot note when we got to that place, you are not saying that because you can't have a physical note on that, we should stand this question. Mr. Speaker, that's not fair. The most fair position would have been that he should have jotted. If not,
like
we could have gone to our colleague who asked the question to read that small section. But if you do not mind, Mr. Speaker, I will just read that section again for him to write the note, so that he can be able to ask questions.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, honorable members, you know the point raised by the member for Efutu might be very legitimate. In fact, that was the time you should have raised the issue that let's defer it, let's go to other questions, so that copies of the new answer be made available to the House before we get to it. In fact, I even moved a step further to say that you should take it paragraph by paragraph. Then she responded by saying that, look, we will get the rendition as she goes through the response. And I was thinking that some of the members were going to raise an issue at that point. I didn't get anybody raising an issue, and I thought the House was satisfied. I'm a servant of the House. I thought the House was satisfied, and I've allowed, so I said that, look, very well, she should go. Now, halfway through, in fact, the member was going to ask her last question, halfway through, he said we should suspend and now distribute. Honorable member for Efutu, I think that, you know, that will not be fair. Let's make progress in the House. Let's make progress. Honorable member for your question, your last question.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, my last question. Paragraph 2, the government objectives to ensure the timely availability of Premix fuel. Mr. Speaker, what is the trend of supply in terms of volumes to the various landing beach centers?
Honorable Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish I could give him figures, numbers per London Beach, but I don't have that information available. But I know very well that at least every fortnight, distribution is being made to the various London beaches. Thank you.
Dr. Pierre Kubi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the response of the minister, she said, this situation has arisen as a result because of the fact that the Tema Oil Refinery ran out of blue dye. Why did a toll run out of blue dye? Was it was it a case of lack of resources? Was it because the ministry wasn't able to provide resources for Tema Oil Refinery? And what specific steps are being put in place so to prevent the reoccurrence of such a situation, not only for a year, as it's indicated in the answer, but throughout, because pre-mixed fuel is a very important ingredient for the fishing industry. And the fishing industry is currently reeling seriously under lack of pre-mixed fuel. And why should
pose
we
your
sit
question?
down?
You are arguing. The rules do not allow it.
That is a question. My question is, why did TOR run out of
Honorable Deputy Minister.
and what specific steps?
Honorable Deputy Minister.
Was it a case that the ministry didn't give sufficient money to import?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I believe we all know.
Please switch off your mic.
Mr. Speaker, I believe we all know that TOR works directly under Ministry of Energy, and I'm here for Fisheries. Ministry for Petroleum, and I'm here for Fisheries. As such, management matters in TOR I can't disclose. Thank you.
Ablekumanov. The last two, Ablekumanov, and then
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Akwapin Saf. Is that correct? Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, reliable information is that there are shortages of blue dye. May I ask the minister, what date and time are they going to procure the blue dye for fuel production and for free-based production? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the blue dye that is needed for the whole year's production has been ordered by TOR from the UK. But because of the emergency situation we had to airlift 200 kilograms from South Africa, because the one from UK is coming by sea, and it will take some time. So because we have the interest of the fishermen at heart, we wanted to expedite action by making sure the blue dye comes in time for the fishermen to get the premixed fuel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the Honorable Deputy Minister's answer, she said the quantity of blue dye has been imported from South Africa. I want to know the cost of the blue dye for a whole year and the quantity of the blue dye for the whole year.
Honorable Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My honorable member, I really appreciate the question you asked, but I don't have the figures at the moment. I will provide you with the figures in due course. Thank you.
Last question, Deputy Minority Whip. Last question.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Deputy Minister in her answer indicated that she's not the minister responsible for petroleum to answer questions on TOR.
Mr. Speaker, in her answer, she says that blue dye is used in the production of premise fuel. I just want to know from the minister, the Honorable Minister, the role of blue dye in the production of premise fuel, to the extent that its absence can cause a whole important aspect of our life to be relegated to the background or to be ignored for all this period.
Honorable Deputy Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we all know the composition of premix fuel is engine oil and diesel. And that is what is mixed to get premix fuel. But to differentiate the product from other petroleum products, we add the dye, the blue dye, to differentiate the premix because of diversion. Because usually we have a problem of diversion, so we had to add the dye to differentiate it. Thank you.
You don't do that. You don't.
Honorable Deputy Minister, we thank you very much for attending upon the House to respond to questions from honorable members.